go and see how the internet did react to the signing. First up is from the Euro Export. He quote tweeted the announcement tweet for Spurs, and he said, when prepping for sensible transfers, I sent this to Nathan Clark, and he says, left wing 1v1 player is a must. I don't know if you agree, but maybe who knows. But I already covered Douye, Somerville and Williams before. I've been looking at a new player who I think I really like and wanted to get your immediate thoughts, because from what I can tell you, you haven't spoken publicly on Wilson Odobert.
Well, there you go. And he's actually one who does really good profiling of players for who
I rate his opinions.
Yeah, he has good opinions, and he's looking. And he sent that before Odobert was confirmed. So, I mean, obviously, not to say just because he's thinks it's a good signing. It means
it is though to say that if he says it's going to be a good signing, it's going to be a good signing.
I think it's something to say that he looked at it and he saw that Odobert was the player who fits the profile at the very least, and that's the most encouraging thing.
Charlie Paris says it was inevitable a player with 3 Spurs cult hero names would be COYS: Wilson, Serge, Eric, Odobert.
This guy is born to play for Tottenham. Absolutely.
Wilson, Palacios, Serge Aurier, Eric Dyer, Odobert.
Come on.
This is from George Killier. Spurs new signing Odobert possession stats for last year versus the Big 5 leagues and UCL. 98th percentile for touches in the opposition box, 99th percentile for take-ons attempted, 99th percentile for successful take-ons, 99th percentile for progressive carries, 99th percentile for carries into the penalty area.
Yeah, and also a winger like him, to get into the penalty area very often and for those cutbacks is really crucial. Yeah, I think, and so that's again really, really encouraging. And look at the bottom as well. Progressive passes received, 93rd percentile, which means he's getting in positions to receive the ball and playing for a Burnley side who are in the who got relegated. It's not an easy thing to do that, and especially against defences who going to be much better than you, and he's able to pick up really good positions.
You're coming up against better teams week in, week out. Jivan Sahota says, proper kept under wraps, Spurs moving in silence, welcome to Tottenham, Wilson Odobert. And this is like the first proper kind of example of Johan Lange at Spurs just completely going under the radar. Like nobody knew about this, nobody.
Am I right? Was he here when we signed Werner? Because Werner was also one which came out of pretty much nowhere.
Yes, I believe he was. He was here in January, wasn't he?
He was here in January, so that was also one. But this one, literally like cloak and dagger. Like no one knew what was going on. Didn't get a whiff from Romano. Usually you get a stage of every bloody step in the deal from Fabrizio Romano. It's been so nice to have a genuine surprise in a transfer deal. I think
so rare these days.
It's very rare, like nearly like impossible. So to have that is a really nice thing. It's like a throwback to those days of Sky Sports News when you'd be watching Sky Sports News and they'll have a genuine breaking news.
We're breaking news. Yeah, 100%.
Literally, it's like a proper throwback, and that's been one of the most pleasant things of this deal, I have to say. But also, fair play to Spurs for not leaking anything and keeping this a secret, because it's taken everyone by surprise. Not just Romano, no journalist, no Gold, no Kilpatrick, no one got a whiff of this.
Sasha Tavoleri got the scoop after he had done the medical.
He got it 25 minutes before the official announcement, so it was obviously a good scoop. But he only got it really for 25 minutes. So. Yeah, unbelievable.
And what a 25 minutes it was for him. WhoScored.com says, most successful dribbles by teenagers in Europe's top 5 leagues last season. And there's Wilson Odobert in 4th, just behind Douye, Gruda and Lamine Yamal, and just above Ernest Nuama. So he's in good company there.
Definitely. I mean, all those players. Gruda just got to move to Brighton. He's supposed to be quite a good player. Obviously, everyone knows Lamine Yamal. Desiree Douye, everyone probably wanted him before he moved to PSG. So these are exactly the kind of players we would want.
But the most impressive thing about that is that Odobert is the one that's done it in the hardest league.
Hardest league and probably for the worst team.
And probably for the worst team, yeah. No context Tottenham. This is Spurs announced that we have reached an agreement with Wilson Odobert from Burnley, and there's Danny Rose. Googling another player.
Rose for sure had to Google him, that's for sure. That's definitely true. You know what? I bet a lot of Spurs fans were Googling him this morning. That's for
100%.
Sure. Definitely.
I was definitely Googling him this morning, that's for sure. Scouted say that Wilson Odobert to Spurs, we like the vision. And with that, it means that an average age of Tottenham's 16 senior signings for under Ange Postecoglou is 21.8 years old. They have one of the youngest recruitment strategies in world football. It is mad when you think about it. You know, Lucas Bergvall, 18, Archie Gray, 18, Jan Min-hyuk, 18, Wilson Odobert, 19. And these are all players that are expected to come into the first team. And, you know, like this recruitment strategy says, you know, we want players that are here for now and the future.
Yeah, and that's massive. And if you look at last season, obviously this season, Gray and Bergvall and Odobert are all teenagers. But last season as well, Van de Ven, you know, he's 22. Odogie's into the side, he's 20. Sarr comes into the side, he's 21. So the average age has dropped absolutely massively. And that's obviously going on to a refresh for Tottenham and going into a new era as well. And I think that's the best way to kick off a new era, in this kind of way where you've got a team together who are young, mouldable and can grow together. And that's something that's really good. Sprinkled in with some obviously world-class talent like Son, Maddison. I'm not going to say Solanke's world-class, but obviously he's more experienced. So you have a core of more experienced players as well. Romero, who's also 26. But some really core youth players who could be here for a while.
Is Sonny our only player over 30?
Davis?
Sonny and Davis.
Ben Davis.
So you'd think, if Ben Davis was to leave this summer and Sonny is our only 30, I mean... And Forster, yeah. So I guess Forster and Davis, there is a question to say that these guys won't even be in the European squad next season. But once these two players leave, and let's say Sonny's the only one, I mean, the average age will drop down dramatically even more.
Exactly, because they're definitely hiring the average age up a bit more.
WhoScored.com says Wilson Odobert completed more successful dribbles, 53, than any other teenager in the Premier League last season. The 19-year-old is set to sign for Tottenham. Daily Hotspur says that Wilson Odobert's Premier League stats versus Nico Williams' La Liga stats. This is according to Squawka. So you want to run through these?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Let's see. So Nico played a bit more last season, but let's see in terms of goals. So in terms of goals, they're very similar.
Crossing accuracy is better. Passing accuracy is better.
Assists, obviously, Nico Williams a bit more, but he has better players, say, man. Yeah, passing, crossing, 4 passes, Odobert. Playing for a weaker team, you know. Nico Williams playing for a good Bilbao side.
Yeah.
Looks like backward passes, Nico's better. So backward and sideways passes, Nico's better, but that's not what you want. And then take on and ground dual success.
Numbers are very similar, though, just in general.
I mean, he has impressive numbers. He does. That's what I'm saying. They've looked at the data. They're very much following the data in this one, I believe. And I think the data really, you know, a lot of people, a lot of football fans don't like the use of data. They like the eye test. They like big names. You know, they like players play for big money. But you know, if you look at what he provides in terms of his numbers, obviously numbers only tell a certain part of the story. They're not the full picture. But if you're following the data, I mean, he has very impressive underlying stats. I
think, with Wilson Odobert, not only just the data, though, but you saw in the eye test that he is, you know, going to be a good player. Whether he's the finished article, obviously not at 19 years of age, but you can clearly see the guy has talent, clearly.
Yeah, 100%. And as I was saying, I know anyone can look at any YouTube compilation, I know that, but if you do watch his compilation, as I was saying, the amount of times you see him playing against really good teams and he's making an impact, that's really impressive. Because he's, as I keep saying, he played for a relegated team last season, yet he's making an impact against really good teams. And maybe some of the other players weren't on his wavelength, or, you know, he's setting up inferior players to what he'll be doing at Tottenham. He'll have better players around him, which can make him even more effective. But when you're standing out against top teams for a relegated side, I mean, that's a really good sign.
Spurs Express, this was just the announcement. And then BLTHFC says that's twice we've spent 30 plus million on championship talents this window. Not saying that's winning us the league, but it's a different club that doesn't want to miss out on the next Grealish, Eze, Elise, Maddison, Bowen. There's a very obvious raw core that we're building.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely right. That's, we've been...
Who's the other player that we signed from the championship for over 30 million?
Gray.
Oh, Archie Gray, yeah.
Yeah, Archie Gray. Why wait till, let's say Odobert signs for Palace, has an amazing season, all of a sudden he's worth 60, 70 million. Why wait until that happens? Why not sign him before? I think that's what we're trying to do.
And then Spurs Express saying Wilson, Odobert, fully COYS. That's him putting Spurs official.
No, I think you might have to refresh. I've got a different one here.
Oh, you got a different one, do you? So maybe you go through it for now.
Ollie Davis says, I don't care if he's any good. I'm just buzzing. We've signed a player completely out of the blue with no prior speculation. Proper throwback. Love it.
Absolutely. And that's what we were saying, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Just completely out of the blue. It was just so good to see.
Lily White Lab says, everyone was asking for a dribbly winger. We got one who's doing this at 18 and in the Premier League, and I still see complaints. And he's quote tweeted him having one of the most dribbles for a teenager in Europe's top 5 leagues. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. In terms of what I wanted from a winger, I think Odobert really fits it. And despite the fact he wasn't, in my immediate thoughts, I'm looking at what I wanted in a winger and what he provides. And I can't really complain too much.
I tell you what, as the stream is progressing, I am getting more and more excited. Not that I wasn't excited in the first place. I do think he's a really good signing. I was just like I said before, I was expecting someone in their mid-20s, ready-made to come in now. But I am getting very excited about this, seeing all these stats come through. Lily White Rose says, this is a message from a Burnley fan. He says, talk to me about Wilson. He says, F's sake, just seeing the news. He's been very impressive for a 19-year-old, adapted to the Prem instantly and was a solid starter every time, fast and direct with skill, bags of potential. Do you know how much the fee was? So that's from a Burnley fan.
And if you look at the comments as well from when Burnley announced it, a lot of Burnley fans really upset by this, and that's a good sign. That shows that that's a player that they all really like and really think was a really good player for them. So that's always a good sign, I feel.
Yeah, and actually, we got ourselves a message from a Burnley fan talking about him, and they said he's very talented, technically excellent for his age, a little bit like Eze, can just ghost past players. So that's also very positive. The World of Hotspur says, imagine going for the likes of Neto and Eze all year to this. Would you be one of the most disgracefully unambitious signings of an entire ENIC era, which is saying something? I mean, I disagree with the latter part of it, but that's kind of what I've been alluding to all stream, saying, we've been going for Neto, and I didn't mention Eze, but yeah, Eze is a good example of it as well. We've been going for them all year, and then we've landed on Odobert.
Yeah, and I understand that way of thinking, and especially if you're, good, against the board and stuff like that, that this is definitely adds fuel to the fire, and it gives you ammunition, especially when we're told we wanted a marquee winger signing, wanted to spend big money, and then all of a sudden we're signing a teenager from Burnley and we're expected to be over the moon. I understand that way of thinking, but you just got to look at the recruitment that we've done since Ange, and it hasn't always been superstar signings or big names, and yet a lot of them have really come in and been really effective. And I think looking at what all I'm purely looking at is his profile, the kind of winger he is, and is that the kind of winger that we want at Tottenham, that we need? And he definitely seems to fit the bill. Obviously, with Eddie signing, there comes risk, especially when he's a teenager who's only had one season in the Premier League, compared to more experienced wingers who, are more likely to come in right now and maybe be a superstar or maybe get the fans more excited. But that's not to say that, after maybe 5-10 games of watching him play, maybe fans will be just as excited as him as they would have been for another player. So I'm looking at it really positively. I think he's a really positive signing for us, and I think he could give us exactly what we're missing in the forward line. But obviously a part of me is a bit, disappointed that we haven't gone all out and,
doesn't sound like it.
And the part of me is obviously that we haven't, let's say, gone for 60, 70 million and gone for Bakayoko or gone for a more established player. But I think that's just the part of me that wants a big signing rather than the part of me who wants the right signing for what we need. And he could be it. There's no reason why he can't.
And then it just went into the announcements. Sasha Tavoleri saying exclusive news now confirmed by Spurs official Wilson Odobert to Tottenham. And then the next was Tottenham's announcement saying we are delighted to announce the reached agreement for the permanent transfer of Wilson Odobert from Burnley subject to formalities. And then it was Tottenham confirming his shirt number 28. This was Odobert's Instagram again. This was the Ali Gold, him bringing out the tweets. And Harry Brooks says, a far better player than most of the names I've seen linked with Spurs. This is a damn good signing. Do you think he's far better than most of the names that we've been linked with, the likes of Eze and Neto?
That's what Harry Brooks says. Look, I can't sit here and say at 19 he's better than, you know, players who are more established. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the potential to be. And obviously the other players have been doing it for longer and, you know, probably to a better standard than Odobert. But in terms of being a better fit than some of the people we've been talking about, I definitely reckon you could say he is. Maybe it'll be fun to if you go to the Burnley announcement and just look at some of the comments from the Burnley fans.
Let's have a look.
Saying,
it's just scroll up. Yeah, that's the Burnley announcement.
No, it's
up
not. It's
one.
Romano. Up. Yeah, that one. So click that comment and go scroll down and click into the comments where Talking THFC says Burnley fans, is he decent? And there's some good reactions here from Burnley. No, go back. There's a reply there, yeah. So just go into that comment. Yeah, so there's some Burnley fans here. One of them says...
he's rubbish. Send him back on a free immediately.
Yeah, get him back immediately.
Incredible potential, blistering pace, can beat a man to unlock defences, and so young, such an exciting talent.
Yeah, so some really... you've snapped him. Matt Norris says you've snapped him up early in his career. Fantastic player. You will love watching him. You will love watching by this lad play. I think he probably worded that wrong. Fast, exciting, great skill, and an eye for goal. Fantastic move for him, and you've got a potential great.
Anonymous Burnley fan says, well, he's 19, and almost every game he played, he took a few players on in the PL. Steve Cadden says he's mint, top talent at 19. Harley Lowe says genuinely got the potential to win the Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or. Joe Hayes says one of a select few who enhanced their reputation last season in our squad. Lightning pace and a decent finisher. Maybe lacking the physicality needed for the Prem right now, but high ceiling. Be interested to see how he performs in a high possession side.
If you scroll up for a second, he actually won Burnley's Goal of the Season award last season. It was for this goal you were talking about.
Yeah, this is a brilliant goal. I mean, it's a really great goal. He does a 1-2. And then just curls it into the far corner. Maybe we shouldn't put it full screen.
Ooh, wow.
But,
what a goal.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable goal. That's him in the centre area. So clearly he's got great technique and he curls that right into the top bins. It's a great goal.
This guy says has something of Henri about him.
Something of Henri. Here's my take for my club for Burnley. He's one of the best players I never seen take care of him.
Claret and Blue says absolute gem, real potential, pace, trickery, dribbling, and can score. Adrian BFC says he'll be a star player in the near future. Gutted we sold him.
And Jamie says not the finished product, but bags of potential. Could easily be one of the best players in the league, as he's still only very young. Wish him all the best. Always played his heart out for us.
Miro says doesn't matter. You'll ruin his career.
And then someone said I'm a Burnley fan and I've never heard of him.
Claret and Blue claims that he will play for France before he's 21. Well,
he played in the Olympics.
He played at the Olympics, with Douillet. I think they were both on either wing.
So, pretty good going. One silver. So I think that's quite interesting to see a Burnley fan perspective there.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's keep going. Daily Hotspur just bringing up the successful dribbles once again. Next up is Odobert again on Instagram. This one from Lily White Lab says, can comfortably play both sides, can go both inside and outside on either side. Brilliant body feints to create separation. Quick both over the first few yards and longer distance. Quality ball striking potential if he adds consistency. Combines very well in the final third. Negatives, lacks the superstar arrogance to take responsibility. Final ball can be hit and miss. So yeah, he probably does. That's what I was actually thinking about, because we all know about his dribbling ability, 1v1 and everything like that, but what's his end product like?
Well, obviously, he only got 3 goals and 2 assists. Clearly, you just saw that goal. He's clearly got talent and technique, but it's about adding that consistency. I think a lot of players at his age, they lack that. That's the one thing that turns them from a good player to a great player. And I have seen a lot of Burnley fans saying sometimes he doesn't pass, sometimes he leaves you frustrated, because similar to I remember what you said about Lucas Moura, when he gets the ball, he has to beat a man before he releases it.
And Lucas Moura never really added that quality.
No, he didn't. And people, they do. I've seen a few Burnley fans say Odobert suffers from something similar. Like whenever he gets the ball, he always has to beat a man before he releases it, and sometimes that can lead to missed opportunities in attack and missed passes. That's something he's going to have to develop. But again, he's only 19 and he's only had 1 season in the Prem. So Spurs definitely look at that and think that's a player who, given the right training, and is very mouldable and can improve that.
And last but not least, Daniel says Wilson Odobert is quality, pure 1v1 winger with explosiveness, agility, technique, lower body strength and mentality to force things, dribbling past players, high rhythm player and plays on both wings. Reminds me of a taller Sterling. He's pure danger, potential XG, machine.
There you go. I don't know who that is, Daniel, but I believe every word you say.
He's a football watcher.
Watcher.
That's what's on his bio, just football watcher.
Then he must know what he's talking about. But look, I for one, I'm excited. I really am excited about this new signing, and I think he gives us a real new dimension in that forward line.